right, we're here. UFC 284.
All right, UFC 284, a little UFC 284 preview. Just wanted to do a short video just to get it out there, what we thought about the couple main fights coming up, I think. We're not going to do a whole in-depth preview on this, but, you know, like I said in the part that got cut off, I don't know, I was getting a lot of pushback on a little short video I did, like why I think Volk's going to win. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not 100% confident he's going to win, and I'm not pedaling back on my opinion either, but I just think it's a really intriguing matchup. And I just, you know, I go back to, like, you know, that Volk fight against Ortega, and it was, you know, I know Ortega is not Makhachev. I get that, but I mean, Ortega is one of the best submission artists in the game, and caught Volk twice in 2 different submissions during that fight. Yeah, and Volk didn't tap either time, even though most people, I think, would have tapped.
I was going to say,
for sure.
Wasn't it Ortega's guillotine too? That's like infamous. You know, once you're in it, you don't get out of it. He has it perfected. Yeah. And obviously, we all know the story. Volk kind of just held in there till his head was purple. And, it was insane. So, that's a great point to bring up leading up to this fight is, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. And the other part too is that I go back to the Volk fight against the last one against Holloway, and he just was incredible. I mean, the speed, the accuracy, everything about that. And he just looked the best that I've ever seen him look boxing wise. Right. And boxing wise, you know, this is going to be an interesting fight, because I feel like, if Volk is that fast against Makhachev, I mean, that is going to force the fight to the ground, most likely. So we'll see what happens. I think it's, like I said, it's an interesting matchup. I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like, you know, if that speed comes through and Volkanovski's that fast against Islam, then it's going to be a problem for him. Right. You know, and on the other hand, it's going to be a problem if, you know, Islam catches Volk with a couple good punches, because, I mean, I think he's got legit power, you know.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, it's a super interesting matchup. That's, you know, kind of, we wanted to hop on here quick, like you said, before it starts. And this is kind of what happens when you have pound for pound number 1 and number 2 go at it. You know what I mean? Nobody knows for sure. I mean, we can all speculate. Oh, man, it's definitely hard to call out. You know what I mean? Who you think...
Yeah, it's
just such an even matchup. I feel like we haven't seen a matchup like this in a long time in the UFC.
Yeah, and the last one we've seen, you know, champion move up to the last weight class was Izzy against Blachowicz. Right. And I felt like, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen in that match either, but we all realized what was going to happen when it did happen, when Blachowicz took Izzy down and Izzy couldn't get up, because Blachowicz is so much bigger than him. Right. And I just don't feel like that's going to happen here. I don't feel like that, you know, I just don't feel like we're going to see the same thing. Even if Makhachev takes him down, I just don't feel like he's not going to be able to get up at all. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like, you know, between Izzy versus Blachowicz and, you know, Islam versus Volk, there was a huge difference in the size between Izzy and Blachowicz. Yeah. Obviously, there's going to be a difference in size here, too. I just don't know how big that will be comparatively. You know what I mean? I think, like you said, if someone gets on top of each other, they're going to be able to get up. If Volk's going to be able to get up, it's not like he's not strong enough or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, but we're going to see. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like Volk has, you know, that thing that he's not going out easily, that's for sure. And I don't think he's tapping as easy as Oliveira did. Yeah. And not to say that was easy, because who am I to say, but anyways, I don't think, I just don't see Volk tapping in that capacity. Although Makhachev, if he grabs onto you and has it locked in, who knows? Because, you know, I was watching a couple of videos today about Makhachev, and he said that's really the difference he thinks between him and other fighters is how strong he is. And as soon as somebody gets caught in something, they tap. Right. Because they feel how strong he is.
Exactly. That's a lot of what a lot of people said about Khabib, too. A lot of people said that he caught him off guard. Obviously, they knew everything that came with him, but once he got a hold of you, everyone was so surprised at how strong he was, how easily he could just ragdoll you to the ground. Yeah. Islam kind of seems the same way, you know, for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to see. Who knows? And, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be, Volk, I feel like, is going to be quicker on the feet for sure. And I think that jab that really kind of pieced up Max last time is going to be prevalent. And I think he's, his boxing is extremely underrated. I feel like it's just, the last, until I saw him against Max last time, was like, man, I just can't believe how fast he was.
I know. Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, he made Max Holloway, who is, self-proclaimed, but definitely one of the best boxers in the UFC. You know what I mean? Yeah. He made Max Holloway look like nothing like that.
Yeah, made him look slow. I mean, beat him to every punch, and I feel like if that starts happening to Islam, I mean, it's going to be takedown city for Volk, and who knows what that's what's interesting about it. It's like, who knows what happens when it goes to the ground, and I feel like maybe that's really going to be the difference in the fight. Can Volk stop the takedown, and can he get up from the takedown?
Right.
Can he get up? If Makhachev is on top of him, that's the question that's going to be answered. Can he get up? Can he get up, and how easily can he get up?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's going to play a really big factor, like you said, once it gets to the ground. How that's going to shake out, I don't think anybody truly knows, and it's going to be super, super interesting to see. Like you said, can Volk get up? Can he move around, under Islam? Can he escape his guard? Can he do this or that? You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff a lot of variables, I feel like, in play here. It should be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I don't think I've, I think I told you the other day, I don't think I've been this anticipating a fight this much since Chandler fought Gaethje, because I knew what we were getting into with that fight, and I just knew it was going to, I don't know, there was no question in my mind that fight was going to be a candidate for fight of the year, because you get two guys like that in the ring and you just know what's going to happen.
Right, exactly.
We don't really know what's going to happen, but this definitely has potential to be fight of the year, and I feel like if Volk can serve, this is the way I feel about it. If Volk can avoid getting submitted or getting in those bad positions, this is going to go the distance, in my opinion. I think it's going to go 5 rounds, and I think, and my prediction, I have Volk winning by decision in the 5th round.
In the 5th round, gotcha.
I mean, I'm historically bad at.
I was going to say,
I would definitely, if you're betting, bet on Makhachev.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm historically wrong about a lot of these fights.
Yeah.
And my gut feeling has been wrong, and maybe that makes me a casual MMA fan.
Definitely not.
But it is what it is. That's just the way I feel, and that's my gut impressions. Well,
that's the best thing about the sport. You truly never know what's going to happen. I feel like last week I had a couple of friends text me about the Derek Lewis fight, saying who's going to win, whatever. They were placing $5-10 on it. And I told them Derek Lewis. I definitely told him Derek Lewis. And I spent a lot of time watching UFC, so you'd think I'd have maybe a better track record, like you were saying, but who knows. So, yeah, like you said, I think, man, it's like I said, it's so hard to predict. You're going with Volk. Maybe I'll just play devil's advocate, go with Islam.
Yeah, I'd put your money on Islam if I'm going with Volk. I don't know. Some guy told me on Twitter that I should probably find a new sport to watch. I don't know. If I'm picking Volk, I should find a new sport to watch. I mean, come on. It's not like I'm picking some, some plus 900 underdog.
Right. I was going to say, it's clear that there's going to be no clear cut winner going into this fight. It's pound for pound 1 and 2.
Sorry, I'm picking the pound for pound champion of the UFC.
Yeah, right. Like, come on. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not like an outlandish, there's no outlandish pick for the winner of this fight, in my opinion. I think any scenario that we could draw up is very reasonable to happen, whether it's, Volk is quicker and pieces Islam up in the 1st round or whatever it is, anything's really possible. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, just people think, I don't know, I just get the impression people think Islam's pretty unbeatable, and obviously I feel the same way, but when you're putting him up against the pound for pound champion,
we'll see.
Pound for pound ranked number 1 fighter in the UFC, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, who knows?
We'll see if he's unbeatable. Yeah, I was going to say, if he beats Volk, then probably.
Yeah. Probably. So who knows? But the other fight we can just touch on is
Yair Rodríguez.
I don't think it's the co-main, but it's for the interim.
I think it is the co-main, actually.
Oh, is it a co-main?
Yeah.
I think they usually bill those as co-main or whatever.
Second to main, sure.
Yeah, so it's for the title that Volkanovski's kind of vacating, the interim title, I guess. Yeah. And
That'll be good. Josh Emmett finally getting his shot. Super happy about that.
Yeah, he's one of those guys too. I feel like falls in that. I don't know, maybe not as bad, obviously, but falls in that Bilal Muhammad category and Dariush category where kind of hanging around, had some great fights, and Josh Emmett's been really, really, his last few fights have been awesome. And, he obviously deserves to be up where he is, and I'm really happy he's getting a shot. And same thing for Yair. I mean, he's had some great fights.
I was going to say, this is going to be an awesome fight, too. Definitely don't sleep on this just because of the main event. It's going to be super cool. Like you said, an interim. They're going for the interim featherweight. Something I saw on Twitter that I wanted to bring up very quickly. It was kind of a hot take. I wanted to see if you agree with it or not. Interim belts should be silver instead of gold.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something about that, too, where somebody was saying that, do interim belts or, do you put as much weight into an interim belt as... And I don't know. I mean, I think that's a little bit, downplayed as far as you're not fighting the current champion kind of thing. But
yeah, I mean, the thing is, when someone like Volkanovski owns your division, you know what I mean, and then you technically can win the belt without having to fight him. Like, it's definitely not the same as having the belt of the division. So the way I'm thinking of it is, hey, maybe if it was silver, someone kind of photoshopped it. It looks sweet, like just the UFC belt, but silver.
Better. Maybe people want that better.
I don't know.
I want the silver belt because it looks nice.
I was gonna say, well, it looks really cool, and it doesn't look like anything less, but like I said, it is something less, especially when you're Yair Rodríguez or Josh Emmett. Volkanovski owns your division. To be the champion of that division, you got to beat him.
Yeah,
you got to beat him for sure. Yep. So,
so I don't know. That's going to be a banger. I think that's going to be stand up all the way. I don't really see much wrestling going on in that fight, but once again, if you're betting for submission, you should probably bet on that because I am typically wrong. I mean, one of those things, just a quick side note, I did one of those, it was last year, I think, on Twitter where people pick the picks they're going to pick.
Right.
I got the whole main card wrong. It was unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't have picked it worse. So whatever.
You know what?
I'm my own worst critic, so you can come at me. Doesn't matter.
I was going to say, though, it comes back to the fact that you really, truly never know what's going to happen. We just said Yair and Josh are going to stand and bang. Who knows? Maybe Josh goes out there and takes him down in the first round and submits him. Who knows? I'm just saying there's so many variables in the UFC and MMA in general, especially getting back to this main event. I feel like anything can happen.
I feel like I'm kind of I'm kind of a homer when it comes to people that I like in the UFC. So if I like one fighter better than the other, I tend to think, he's going to win, But, with Volk and Islam, I don't really like one guy better than the other guy. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm just really impressed with what Volk's done in his last few fights.
Yeah.
And
he's definitely turned me into more of a fan of him. With the whole Max Holloway thing, I was really... I thought Max won the one fight too, so I was kind of had a little animosity built up towards Volk. Now that whole thing is put aside, I definitely am a little bit bigger of a fan of him for sure. And like you said, in the last few fights.
And it's interesting too what Islam said about when he beats Volk, he's gonna go up to 170. I'm like, holy cow! Dude. Like, are you serious? What's happening here? Are we gonna see Chimaev fight Islam? I mean, that would be. I mean, come on, let's do
Chimaev's
it.
Chimaev's huge though. He's struggling to get to 170, and Islam's adding 20 pounds to get up there. That's funny.
Yeah. So I don't know what he means by that or what the plans will be, but. I don't know. He's got a lot of good competition at 55, but I mean, if he moves up to 70, the possibilities are endless up there. So
for sure, yeah.
So we'll see. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but
definitely.
Did they announce something for Chimaev? I don't know. I saw something that somebody was saying.
Set in stone yet. Not sure, but not 100% sure. But I definitely don't think there's anything set in stone as far as like a scheduled fight.
I haven't heard that yet, but I heard some speculation on Twitter. Of course, everyone does those matchups, who you got matchups, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But
it's easy to see those and think they're real sometimes for sure. One other thing about the card, it's in Perth, Australia, which is really cool for Volk. I also like how they stack a lot of New Zealand and Australian fighters on the card, on the undercard and things like that. One thing I thought really would have been cool if Tuivasa was kind of on a hot streak. He could have been on this card as well. It would have been super fucking hype in Australia.
Yeah,
Australian
it's
fighters.
too bad him and Hooker couldn't line up for this card.
I know.
Obviously not to fight each other, but on
the same card.
On the same card.
Imagine if you threw Izzy in there too.
Awesome.
Obviously, that's hard to coordinate. All these guys are fighting at different times, and they got to have their training camps, and there's a lot to do with it. But that would have been awesome at least. Yeah. Have Tuivasa on the card. He's lost a couple fights though, so he's probably got what he fought kind of recently too. It wouldn't have worked out anyway, right?
Yeah, probably not. Not.
It would have been cool though. It would have been cool to have like a guy like Tuivasa or another big Australian fighter on the card. Yeah,
for sure. So, all right, well, that's all I got. Yeah. I think we're looking at a good card. I mean, I think it's definitely the rest of the fights. I mean, there's some lesser known fighters on there, but I mean, top 2 fights are stacked, and definitely. I think the rest of the card should hold up. I mean, it's not stacked like some of these cards coming up, but
I was going to say that's the thing
what
about
it is.
I mean, that I've been kind of just a final thought to close it out. The thing that I've been thinking about recently, we went to K4, watching a lot of different fighting. I almost don't. Not that it's irrelevant to me who's fighting, but like watching the sport in general, watching 2 dudes fight is just so fascinating to me. Even more recently, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, I almost don't care. I'd rather.
Yeah, when we were at K4, which is K4 is a local fighting promotion in Buffalo, New York. That we went to the event live there, and we didn't know any of the fighters. We've never seen any of the fighters fight, but it was like over the top entertaining. It was really good.
Exactly. So, and I think Joe made a good point while we're there. I was watching it while I was editing it, and he said, it's not a promotion that we love. It's a sport that we love.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I feel like a lot of people could open their eyes more to different things like that, or just UFC fighters that you don't know. You know what I mean? Don't turn off the early prelims. Watch them because you might see something crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. A lot, if there's not big name, fighters or, big names on the cards, then people think the card is not going to be good, but that's not true at all.
Not true at all. Yeah. I was going to say,
I think
sometimes almost the opposite. Younger guys trying to make a name for themselves, go out there, do something crazy. Sometimes you see something like that, which is cool too.
Yep, absolutely. So that's all we got.
Cool. UFC 284.
Stay tuned.
We'll catch you
early next week.
Probably the Monday after, Tuesday after. We'll post it or whatever, our review.
Yep.
This will get out, obviously, soon, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Cool.
We're up.
Peace out.
Yep.